Hello everyone, I'm Overhaul and today we'll be reviewing Fire Force chapter 242. The usual disclaimer at the beginning of the videos. I'm not a kid specific channel. Although the topics I discuss might come off like they're for kids, most likely it's either going to be a darker type of topic in the chapters or episodes or whatever. Me describing things that are too mature or anything that a child should not hear. So if you're a child, I would strongly advise you not to watch this. And with that said, let's get on with the video. So yeah, today we'll be reviewing Fire Force chapter 242. No, 43. Apologies, I kind of forgot about it. And last week we ended it with Uga getting stumped by Charon. And this week we begin with Wobbuffet Charon. Yeah, between this and the One Piece chapter having a Dadio headliner or small user, is it going to be like a week where every month was last week the week of referencing every single Pokemon? Like, is there a reference in My Academia with Pokemon that I just missed, or Dr. Stone or something? I mean, there was a reference to One Piece, but was there a reference to Pokemon? Who knows? Maybe someone's gonna leave in the comments below. But yeah, we begin the first page literally has Chao as Wobbuffet, which I wonder if that was Okubo, that was where Okubo got the inspiration for Charon, or if that was someone just mentioned, like one of his editors or someone just mentioned, hey, you know Okubo, this guy is very similar to the Pokemon Wobbuffet. And Okubo's like, huh, you're right. Maybe I'll draw it on the front page on one of the chapters. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, we begin this chapter with the aftermath of what happened in the last one. Like Charon challenging them. Alright, who is gonna come and challenge me next? Pretty much wait for the next opponent. Makes sense, since Charon is one of the most powerful characters, and it makes sense why he would be one of the more no debate or who's gonna come and fight him. Like even Benimaru and Kano, I would say, well not Kano, Chrono, I would say are amongst the characters who would probably have a hard time fighting him. I'm not gonna say that John would beat them. I'm just saying that when it comes to a clash, it would not be a one-sided fight. I would definitely say that. So yeah, John is very much just saying, "Come at me." And something interesting that he states is that he wants Arrow, the one with the Who to come challenge him next. Which is Arrow, which makes sense since he attacked her first because she is the traitor. Also, I forgot to mention that Tamaki was crying for Ugon because of what happened, but that's pretty much expected. So yeah, Maki is saying, how are we gonna defeat this enemy? Honestly, I don't want to go into power scalings here, but I gotta say, Ugon is around the second strongest, third strongest, I guess under 8th. In fact, even though he got defeated by Charon, I would definitely say he's one of the strongest characters in the battlefield right now. And he was defeated by Charon, and Charon for the most part is pretty fine. So how will they defeat him is the question. And Arrow points out that it's more his game. We cannot go in him fighting normally. We can't play his game, which is, if we'll be honest ourselves, short course combat, but with him taking damage and then send him back, or some kind of variation of that ability. It's a very simple ability when you describe it, but it's really hard to kind of get around it, or for Charon not to find a way to find his weaknesses and then use them in his advantage later, as we'll see. So yeah, Arthur gets kind of ratty, which makes sense. I would say Arthur is the best chance they have against Charon, except for Ugon at the moment. But Ugon stands up, honestly expected him to like. I will maybe you could say that I'm not sure why people thought that Ugon was going to be defeated or killed. Like, look, let's be real here. When a hero dies, it's never so oh like like oh he died. Wow. Like the only one I would new writer who I would say would probably do that is what the one who writes Hunter x Hunter. I know he's a famous writer, but I just can't remember his name at the moment. But most time when a hero will die, there will be like a bigger build up, like more impactful. So yeah, I didn't think that Ugon was going to die, so it makes sense that he survived. I'm honestly assuming a lot of people would expect like him he surviving. So yeah, John then goes back to him since again Ugan is pretty much like I would still say or I would definitely say he's a bit in a weaker mode, but even in this weak mode I would still say he's one of the strongest. And they go into clash. Now Ugan although he is like very like very kind of says something very awesome like alright Arthur sit back and prepare for dragon. I'll deal with this guy. He acknowledged there's a alright big talk, but how am I going to do it? That's you can talk big, but it's hard taking on Charon. You have to show your through your actions, like most of things in life. It's not good enough to just talk. So Uga is like thinking, how is he gonna go past this counter? So here's what I'm gonna do. So Uga thinks, alright, if I punch him, then he is going to have to send it out. So when he's gonna send it out, I have to punch him again, which I'm pretty sure is the strategy he was using up until now. But alright. So he goes and he successfully punches him, and I do believe he's in Flame Ink mode. Which I honestly kind of thought that. I'm not sure if it's because Ugan is weakened, but I kind of thought Flame Ink mode would kind of be like a lot more damage than Chong can kind of handle. But maybe it's because he's weakened. But Chong takes it, and Ugan gets ready to like for another attack, but Chong just straight up punches him. Yeah, it's honestly kind of anticlimactic if you really think about how Chong is gonna go around his ability, but he remembers, oh wait, I can still just punch you regularly. And then counters. Like Chong doesn't need to immediately send a counter once he absorbs the damage, which I believe is the first time stated. Like I'm not like I believe every time before he immediately kind of responded. I'm not sure exactly, but I think every time in the previous show it was always like hit, immediately respond. Like I don't believe your actions immediately or different before he is sent out. But yeah, Ugan gets attacked and he kind of gets knocked out. Like, well, not really. Just he just falls on the ground. Kind of has this kind of like goofy face, and we get into the flashback. Like honestly, I'm not surprised we get a flashback. I kind of expected it to be because the last one was more like, I guess, supposed to make him more of an interesting lineage. So that's what we get. But now we get this flashback between Ugon, Shinra, and Arthur, and it's going to flash out their relationship a little bit better since like we knew that those three were like best pals and they were friends and they trust each other and we know they work together, but we don't know what exactly was the relationship, how they like meet, like how would that went. And now we find out. In this chapter we go into the first day of school, and I'm guessing we skip some time between them and how many days passed. I don't think it was a major one. Like I think it was like from first to like fifth or fourth day. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, we go to the first day where we have Shinra like the teacher's going to have introduce yourself, and she's like, I'm Shinra Kusakabe, and I will want to be a fire soldier and a hero. Basically, there's a little line before Shinra's where one random student says something and does a little more than just his name. So yeah, there are clearly people doing things like that. And I was a little interested at Shinra, like, oh, that's interesting. Probably because he has kind of like the same kind of like heroic spirit that Shinra has. Like he pretty much confirmed that in the last chapter. So yeah, then we have Shinra walking and he encounters Arthur and they, I'm guessing since it's the first day, they don't really like hate each other yet. In fact, the whole hating each other and being rivals actually comes into play in the end of the chapter. So Arthur and Shinra meet and Shinra's like, oh, you're the night guy. And a bunch of girls come and basically the basic, oh, Arthur, he's so handsome. Oh, Arthur, you're a knight, right? So would you come and save me? Like the basic, like the most basic of the basic of, oh, you're popular with the girls thing. So that's that. And there's one little girl at the end that says, oh, I want to just keep him as a pet, which is a bit fucked up if we're being honest. But anyways. So, and Shinra and Arthur have this, that kind of like comedy scene that Okubo does where he has captains that kind of jumped out of the real world. They have kind of like this kind of like chibi type of designs, and she's like, "You're popular with the girls." Well, I am a knight. And then Ugan shows up, and we basically get a bit of a more of a build up to Ugan and Ugan's full name, Ugan Mutanori, and we find out that Ugan, in terms of tasks, had the highest scores. I'm not sure that's revealed before, but I don't believe it was. But in this one, we do get them revealed. So when it comes to like tasks, he is the best at that. And we even find out later in the chapter, well, not at later, a couple, I believe the next page actually, that Arthur had the greatest firepower and Shinra just blitzed the exam. I think that in Arthur and Shinra's we got before, but in this one we find out that all three of them were basically the best at one thing. Ugan, the best in exams and tests. Arthur, in terms of firepower, the best at that. In terms of like the performance to enter the Fire Force or whatever it is, I am not blanking on the exact words. Shinra was the best at that. Basically, they were all the best at one thing, and they basically talk. And Arthur and Shinra basically have this fine moment where they're like, this guy truly is a nice, good dude and a nice guy. And it's the end where we have like a joke like, and he can go for screw ups like us. So I'm not gonna call Shinra dumb, but he's not exactly this genius amongst the eight, if you know what I mean. Like both of them really know they're not exactly the most well behaved and the most genius and level head type of characters, so it makes sense. Where they'll be like, oh, he can cover for our weaknesses. And Uga actually wants them to be a team since, again, I feel like, honestly, I would assume that in these worlds where like combat and, fight monsters is like a profession, I feel like the best ones, like the top of these classes are probably usually like, you have some responsibility if there's a crisis. Like, if there's a crisis, you are allowed to like be the ones that come and save the day. So basically, they have become pals like immediately. Like they hit pretty well like in seconds. Honestly, I think that's the most realistic thing at this chapter. The fact that how quickly they became friends. Like probably like, oh hey, I'm Uga Mutanori. Oh hey, you're a hero. Oh yeah, you too. Wanna be fat pals? Yeah, and we all there. So yeah, and then we get some students like saying, "Oh my god," and saying these are the three best who have some their own respective category, like the best at that. Well, I guess it is true what they say, the best attract the best. So, which might actually be the explanation to why so many teams in anime usually seem to be the smallest, yet somehow seem to have the best at that specific group. Honestly, I feel like that's just a coincidence. But yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I like the fact that the best attract the best. And then we see Karim. Now, I'm not sure how many people really know who Karim is. I feel like he's one of the more like, he appears and then you forget about him, but he's the guy who is also from Company 4. He's more like the douchebag character, like in the Company 4 arc, he got beaten down by Shinra, and then he was brainwashed by Homera and attacked Shinra. Then in, I don't believe he appeared until the Stigma arc where the captain got killed, and then and he, I believe, appeared in the funeral and all that. Like, he's one of the more forgotten. Like, what he does is does scales, and he did add a moment in a few chapters back where he made like a giant shield with his flame scales. And we find out the reason why he doesn't like Shinra and why he's basically Shinra is a devil character. And we find out this mysterious kid just came to him and said, "Hey, kid, did you hear the rumor?" And Colin like was asking. I'm guessing these are like really young. I'm guessing they are like young. Like even though I believe they are around 17, so I'm guessing this is supposed to be them at 13 or so. And he's like curious about what the rumor is. And then this mysterious kid mentions the fact that kid Shino Kusakabe, he killed his mother and baby brother. He's a devil. And this kid also says, "I hope nothing happens to Uga Motonori, since, I feel like a lot of people, even though Shino and Alpha are like top skills, I feel like Uga is the one who people like thought he's the best out of the three." And yeah, and then Colin kind of like agrees. Again, I feel like they're also very young. They're not kids, but they're like, like when you think you know what's right. And let's be real here, no one younger in, I would say, between 12 and 17 exactly knows what's right. In fact, I would even go say, until you're like 25, from 12 to 25, I would say that's where you do the stupidest things you do in your life. If we are being honest. Like, I'm not saying that a person is stupid, but that's like when you make the most stupid decisions, obviously. Which is ironic, since I'm 17, so yeah. I have still years before I stop my stupid things. So yeah, and he believes that. And then we find out something very interesting about this kid. This kid who told Colin about Shino being a devil and that, he has A on him as pupils. You question what I mean? Well, you see, when you have eyes, some characters in Fire Force have interesting things in them, like arrows. She has pointed arrows instead of the regular irises. Beimaru has one of his eyes have an X shape. It's a common thing amongst pyrokinetics. They have a little differences. It's nothing to take note of. It's honestly pretty common. I don't believe anyone even mentions them ever. But these eyes are very interesting since they remind me of a certain white-clad, ship-shaping demon lived for a century named Yona. Yep, that character's Yona. Now, this does kind of raise the question if, was it the rumor about Shino being the devil, well, the reason why it was so spread and the reason so many people thought he was it because of the story that it was given to the public? Or is it because Yona and those people who are probably, I would say, blending into society that are about the white clads? I feel like there are some regular civilians who are actually white clad members. From what we've seen, that could very likely be the case. Like, just going around spreading those rumors. Like, like let's say you're Joe, the mechanic, and you're actually part of the white guy, and you have like pals, and you're like, "Hey, did you hear the rumor?" No, what's the rumor? Apparently, one kid, with Shino Kusakawa, I believe the kid's name was, he apparently used his flames to like burn down his home with his mother and baby boy being killed by him. He's a devil if you ask me. It's just something I heard. I mean, I believe it was reported in the news later. Oh, really? Well, that sounds like a devil to me. Like, I feel like that's what could have happened, although I'm not exactly sure. I mean, it does seem like this rumor is just being spread around the class. So we later see Shino walking, and I believe we've already kind of seen this type of a scene where Shino is just like walking to school, and everyone's like, "Oh, did you hear the rumor? He's like a devil. Look at his face. Look at his mind. He's so demonic." And then Ugon shows up, and honestly, it's being a pal and tells them, "Look, ignore them. I mean, it's not true, right?" And she's like, of course not. And she tries to explain to him exactly what happened, but he's like, dude, you don't have to explain it. It's not true, and that's all that matters. Although, and there's this like funny scene in the end where Ugon is like, but you have to do something about that smile. Like, it is creepy. Like, I know it's false and all, but you gotta be honest, Shinra's smile and face does kind of look sadistic, if you were really. In fact, it sure really explains it's a bad habit, which, not gonna lie, I have it too. Well, you can see it because of the mask, but yeah, I smile a lot on things I shouldn't. So, yeah, and then at the end of the chapter, the final page is gonna be something very important to everyone. And we see there being a sports, well, like a gym class, basically. And I'm guessing this is why this is supposed to take over a period of time, since the first day was very obviously with the whole meeting between the trio. And then we got into a bunch of people like sharing the rumor. And now we have a gym class. I feel like this is supposed to be somewhere in the first week, probably. Or maybe later. And it was like, oh my god, Ugon is so great. Like, in basketball, we have no chance. And Ugon is again pretty cool about it. He doesn't focus. Like, he's great, but he's like, well, it doesn't matter how great I am. It's going to take the two. Like, it's clear that the reason why Ugon is winning is probably not because he is himself that good. Is because he has such good teammates. And then we get the most important part of the chapter. We see Shinra and Arthur arguing about which are better, knights or heroes, which I've been doing throughout the entire series. So yeah, and the next chapter suggests, well, I believe the next chapter starts the free was this chapter. Like, I'm blanking on the name of the next chapter, but the next chapter was something that hinted at being revealing on why exactly do Shinra and Arthur are rivals to one another. Like, why are they so obsessed with the whole who is bad, knights or heroes? Honestly, I expect the next chapter to reveal it's something like Yuna is going to Arthur and trying to get him to spread the rumor as well. And I was like, nah. And then Yuna's like, he thinks heroes are better than knights. What? Like, I would honestly imagine it being something like that, being expansion, but I know it's unclear. We just get the rivalry begin. And it's like this funny scene with Ugon being like, oh, and we were getting along so well. Which again makes me think that it was like a short period of time between the events. Again, but not exactly sure. So yeah, this chapter was a pretty standard backstory chapter. I mean, there was nothing really all that important in it. Like, it all went like how you expected. We expected they were going to come back, stand back up. We expected for him to be knocked back down, or something that will cause him to be in a bad state to go into the flashback. Then we'll get his flashback back, and then we'll get and then we'll get to see how things started. Like, we start very slowly, and then eventually we build and build and build, and then it goes somewhere down to an epic final moment, and then the characters stand back up. Like, it's a very standard first chapter. In fact, I won't even say it's my favorite first chapter, but it doesn't matter really. There's nothing special about it. It's not bad by any means. It's just okay, just something to like read and then wait till the next chapter come out. So yeah, what's going to happen for the next chapters? Like I said, I feel like it's just going to explain the rivalry, and honestly, I feel like from what we know so far, there's not a big tragedy coming. Like, I don't think there's going to be like a big Oden died. Beima's master died. Oh shit. I feel like it'll be something like, just like, yeah, you two might hate each other and ignore the fact that we're all basically supposed to be 5 soldiers and we're not actually heroes and knights. but we are like we pals to the end. Like honestly, the end of the backstory could be something like just the two being accepted into the 8th, and Uga being accepted to the 4th. Or taken into the 4th, which I do believe is actually mentioned that they should be in they could end up in the same company, but they didn't. Maybe at the end of this story they will be in the same company. Who knows? But yeah, we get that, and it's a like I said, like a pretty generic first chapter. That's pretty much it. I hope you like this review. I hope you leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. Tell me your opinions in the comments below. That's it. I cannot wait to see all of you people next time. Bye.